Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to talk about accessible tourists for the CSI Case General Villamil, Ecuador. This presentation was provided by Jael Ruiz, Alba Caicedo Barret, and Roberto Lara from University of Guayaquil. For beginning, we present the agenda with the introduction, theoretical framework, methodology, results, practical implications, and conclusion. So let's begin with introduction. In our society, not all people are able to face daily life with the same naturalness. Leisure is one basic right of the human being, like the health, the work, and education, which no one should be excluded. However, some difficulties remain present for limited mobility people at the time of enjoying the leisure, rest, or executing other tourist activities. The presence of architectural barriers does not allow all people to enjoy and practice the right to recreate during their free time through leisure. This circumstance also prevents their integration into the community because carrying out those different actions reflects a large number of constraints that confront this group. According to the World Health Organization's World Report on Disability, Summary 2011, consider that there are more than 1 billion people who suffer from a certain type of disability, which constitute that 15% of the population at the global level. The increase in people with disability within the industrialized countries who have the economic means and ability of time increase the demand for accessible places that provide service and are suitable for this purpose. Limited mobility people desist from traveling to a certain site to make some type of activity related to tourism in favorable conditions in the daily work. Many cities around the world are encouraging and supporting activities that allow these people to enjoy and improve their touristic experience. A theoretical framework will present two works that will be in the whole of our research. Disability. The disability is derived from the relationship between people and deficiencies, architectural and attitudinal barriers that avoid their full interventions in equal opportunities than the rest of society, as United Nations said. Among people with limited mobility are elderly people with or without physical deficiencies, overweight people, people who carry baby carts, women in pregnancies, and people with a cardiac deficiency, among others. In the term accessible tourism, the United Nations World Tourist Organization issued the Manila Declaration in September 1980, which joined the terms of tourism and accessibility for the first time. Tourism is recognized as a very necessary right to develop the human being. In this sense, the United Nations World Tourist Organization encouraged its members to consider tourist accessibility within their laws and regulations. The Specialized Manual of Accessible Tourism defines accessibility as the group of particularities that an environment, product, or service must be available to all people, especially those who suffer some type of disability, and environments that offer equality, comfort, and safety. United Nations World Tourist Organization so describes accessible tourism as a type of tourism involving a series of cooperation and assistance that encompass the party concerned with providing individuals with particular requirements for access, performing freely with equity, thanks to the existence of products, service, and tourist environment planning in a universal way. Here we will describe some specific characteristics that should have places of recreation that prevent accessible tourism. For the equipment, the customer service desk, such as hotels, cinema, theater, and other establishments, must show divergence of height for comfort and pay a better attention to the different types of clients. And we can see here a kind of picture that resumes what we have said about the front desk. Also, we describe food service establishment, such as restaurants with accessible features provide facility for wheelchair users, and the tables must be conveniently located between the main entrance and the bathroom. In this route, it must not be more than 2 centimeters. We can also observe that in cinemas, auditoriums, and theaters must necessarily have areas for people with disability, which they must be distinguished by showing the international symbol of disability, and the free area will have approximately 125-85 centimeters in dimension, located close to the exit. We can here observe what we have explained. For a visually impaired person who moves with the help of a cane, you need a minimum area of 90 centimeters wide by 120 centimeters long. A person who moves with the help of crutches needs a minimum area of 90 centimeters in wide to be able to mobilize comfortably in a safe manner. The person who uses cane assistance needs a minimum area of 80 centimeters wide. Other specific characteristics that should have places of recreation are in pedestrian crossings. The difference between the curb and the level of the street must reach zero, and it is necessary to incorporate a texture strip, alerting blind people that a crossing is next. The location of the exclusive parking for people with disability must be located in such a way that it does not limit access to buildings or pedestrian traffic. They could be parallel to the road, perpendicular to the road, and diagonal to the path also. Methodology of our research. The scope of this research was to analyze the accessibility for tourists with limited mobility in General Villamil Playas, applying a mixed approach as a research design where was collected qualitative and quantitative data. The immersed variables include tourist infrastructure and limited mobility. Consequently, as a type of research was used bibliographic and fieldwork. The population involved in the study are the tourists with limited mobility or relative. Regarding sample data, a population of 25,813 tourists was provided by the Tourist Bureau of Playas, based in study and statistics done during the Holy Christ holidays, found in a mountain of particular and public vehicles of public enterprise of tourism. So 379 surveys were applied. Analysis of the validity and reliability of the scale was done by ESPSS program. The final measure model for reliability in the Cronbach alpha was of 0.931 in 10 items. Factor analysis by KMAO and Bartlett's test was used to test the validity of the scale used, obtaining an 0.819. Techniques applied were observation, surveys, and interview. Through observation was collected qualitative data about the core problem of this study to analyze the weaknesses which have limited the development of tourist activity for this type of people. To elaborate files of observation, the following aspects were considered: accessibility to the canton, public transportation to destination, security, tourism, and tourist service. The scale was excellent, good, medium, fair, poor, very poor, according to Hernandez and Pierre. Our results. Concerning infrastructure, the accessibility to playas is in optimal condition to let facilitate the vehicular flow. Public transportation is provided by Villamil buses. In reference to the capacity, frequency, time, and comfort, the service was categorized as good, back the observation of author. About security, National Police provide to destination the city's custodian. Ecuadorian Navy take care of the beach. In consequence, this aspect was rated as good. Nevertheless, Playa has not implemented accessible facility in the urban destination. On the boardwalk, lacks signs for identifying parking space, so this aspect is considered fair. Restaurants as tourist servers are the main component of the destination. Locals are above the level of the beach. Stairs give accessibility to them, and ramps with a step slope. Badalone do not provide facilities to limited mobility tourists. There are some long wooden walkways from the boardwalk to the sea, but the lack of maintenance has induced damage to them. For hospitality, we're taking example some hotels located on the boardwalk. They do not have either facility for tourist mobility people. In consequence, tourist service was rated as fair. Questions about the opinion of generating improvement on infrastructure for limited mobility people in playas get an agree of 87%. In our results in inferential statistics, one model was applied to two different variables, considering the increase of tourists as the dependent variable. The model demonstrates the correlation between the improvement of accessibility and the training of tourist servers with a confidence level of 95% and significance of 0 among all independent variables. The increase of tourists as dependent variable obtained a 77% of influence by the improvement of accessibility infrastructure and the training of tourist servers, assuming the relationship of the variable, which could be useful for practical application in other studies. As practical implication, we can provide this accessibility system designed for general Villamil, the removal of architectural and urbanistic barriers, adaptation of the parking, access ramps and signage, restrooms and showers adapted for people with limited mobility, wooden access to the beach, amphibious shares, and inclusive games, inclusive sport also. Finally, as conclusion, we can say that General Villamil Playa's content can improve the economic income if the necessary conditions are created, so that people with limited mobility can have a pleasant stay with environments that meet their needs. Destination could improve its facilities considering that group providing enjoyment of moment of relaxation within an environment appropriate to their needs and requirements, therefore contributing to the integration of family. We want to thank you for your attention and continue enjoying the fourth Congress of Tourism in Cordoba. Thank you very much.